This is Steve with Doublereno Woodworking. So I've got my table put together. I put several coats of poly on this thing just to protect it. The machine is not going to actually cut on this. It's just going to sit on this table. So anyway, I've got my QCW quick change wasteboard from Onefinity, and I'm going to start assembling that. So I'm going to get this thing opened up, get it all laid out, and we'll start putting it together. Okay, so I got everything open. They definitely packed it well. So I got all my rails, T-tracks, screws to put it together, and screws to put my wasteboard on. Instructions, I went ahead and got the leveling feet. This is so you can take it anywhere, so you can set it up on any surface and use the machine. But I just wanted it, I can level it once I get it up here. They were 29 bucks, I figure I might as well. And then these are the little kickstands where you can lift the thing up to change your wasteboard once you've got your machine put on it. So I'm going to gather up my tools and we'll get started putting it together. Okay, I got everything open and laid out. So these rails, the front rails and the rear rails, you got these bolt heads. They want to go facing out on the machine, and then your holes, that's for your feet, will need to be on the bottom. So that's the orientation that you want for this thing. And then basically all you do, you take these longer bolts and you stick them through the front of the rail. And then you just line them up with the holes. You see the holes inside there. Hopefully you can see that. You just line them up with those holes, and obviously with the T-track facing up. And you just kind of got to eye one end, get it started, then the other one should line right up. Okay, so I'll get all these in real quick. Okay, so I got all these started. So it's I believe it was a 5mm, yeah, 5mm Allen head. So basically you're just gonna snug these up. And like anything, I don't know what their recommendation, I think they said you can snug them all the way down. Anytime you're putting something like this together, I think it's a good idea, just barely snug it, but don't really go hard with it until you get everything in, everything put together, make sure everything's lined up. And then we'll come back and put the final snugness on it. So that pulls that nice and tight. It lined it up, gets it straight. So I'll go through and snug all these down just a little. Not too much pressure. Okay, so we'll go back down to the other end and do the same thing on the other end. Okay, here we are back down at the other end, and the same thing. We want the bolt heads to the outside, the feet on the bottom. So feet on the bottom, bolt heads to the outside, and we should be golden. Okay, so we got all of our bolts in. Oh, I got one left here. We got all of our bolts except this one snugged down. So everything seems like it's cinched up like it's supposed to. So now I'm just going to go around and re-secure all these Get them nice and snug now. I'll go do all those and then we'll come back. Okay, so we got everything snugged down. So the frame itself is pretty much built. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to flip it over and we can put our feet on it, and then we can put our wasteboard. The first time you do it without the machine on it, the wasteboard, you just flip it over and screw it in from the top going down, and then I'll show you the method for doing it once the machine's mounted on there too. So I'm going to flip this thing over. Okay, so let me get my feet and we'll put our feet on it. Okay, so we have our little rubber feet here, and they basically just screw right in there, nothing to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in, screw them all the way down, and then once I get my table's not up against the wall yet, just because it's going to be easier to work around this way. So I'll put all these on, and then we'll get our wasteboard and start mounting it. Okay, now that we got this thing upside down, you just take your wasteboards, and these things I pre-cut them, and there's a on Onefinity site that they're 8 3/4 wide, 41.5 inches long, and then the two outside pieces are 3 inches wide and 41.5 inches long. So basically you just take your boards, and I've already pre-cut mine, so you just take them and just kind of lift this thing up and slide these things under here. You'll feel them pop into place when you get them right. Okay, so that one's in there. And put one on the other side. You just try to line them up, get them in between the T-tracks. There we go. Put the third one in there. That one goes in a little bit easier. And then I got my two 3-inch pieces. And I'll go, when I get this thing done, I'll kind of show you why I went the route I did as far as the secure from below and secure from above methods. Okay, so I've got all this set up now. And one of the things that I didn't really like about this setup was there's no stop for where these boards need to line up. And it probably really doesn't matter. The cutting surface will be well inside of this, but I want them to be the same. So all I'm going to do is just, I'm going to square them up to one side, just put a square on my table up against the rail and then up against the board, and that'll make it even, look even from both sides. And I already played with this trying to put one screw in, and these things are hard to start, so I just got a little tiny drill bit. Make my drill a little bit longer. So I'm just going to get a little hole. You don't have to pre-drill them. That's just a little hole to help get that started. And I'll get one screw in there. Change to a bigger bit. I wasn't sure what it was going to take for that. Probably go a little more torque than that. Actually, that'll be fine. I'll cinch the rest of it down with a screwdriver. So there's one that holds that in place. So I'll go along and do the same thing with all of these to get them lined up. And then after that, it's just going in and putting screws in. Now on these outside boards, there's only one side to this, so you're going to need to snug it up this way and get it lined up long ways too before you put a screw in it. So you just want to make sure it's snug up to there before you do anything, before you put your first screw in it. I got those in, so everything should be nice and lined up now. And then all I have to do is just go through and put all the rest of the screws in. So I'll time lapse through that. Okay, so I got all my screws put in and I hand tightened them at the end with a screwdriver just to make sure they were down so good and secure. Ended up, instead of drilling all these out, I just took a punch. Here, I'll show it to you real quick. I just took a punch like this and just punched the holes. And it just, something to get that point started, makes it easier to get those screws in. So anyway, so we're ready to flip it over. I think it's pretty much put together now, so let's flip it over and see what she looks like. Thing's got some weight to it. Well, there it is. So we got our wasteboard on, we got our T-track in the middle. Got a nice little dirt spot on that. That'll sand off. Hopefully it'll come off when I surface the wasteboard. So anyway, it looks pretty good. So we're ready to put the machine together now. That other set of screws that came with it are for mounting the rails onto the QCW frame. So that's pretty much it. This thing's put together now and we're ready to start building the machine. So that'll be our next video. It's not as easy as they make it look in the videos. It has these blocks. It has these blocks right here. So if you decide that you're going to change this wasteboard out afterwards, you slide the thing forward and you lift it up and you put that block underneath that, and that holds the board up this way, so you can come in and unscrew and change out your wasteboard without having to take the machine off of it. So I don't know how easy that's going to be. The bottom mount, which is what I have, so it screws in from the bottom, so that's from the bottom mount QCW. The reason that I wanted that in the first place is because if you do it from the top, you got to line up all your holes and pre-drill them and come in and screw them in from the top, and then you got all the holes in top of your wasteboard. And I really didn't want that. That's the reason that I wanted the underneath mount. We'll see when it comes time to change out my wasteboard how hard or easy that is. It probably is going to be a chore, but I'm guessing it may be 30 minutes to an hour to change it out, so it shouldn't be that bad. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. I should have some videos on the assembly coming up pretty soon. I think I've got all my parts, everything that I need to have this thing up and running pretty soon. So I appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share my videos. Thank you.